Work equipments. Introduction to the module. Any equipment used by an employee at work is generally covered by the term work equipment. This module will give you detailed knowledge on work equipment and main requirements for work equipment used in construction. Topics to be covered. Introduction. Use and maintenance of equipment with specific risks. Information, instruction and training. Operation and working environment. Handheld tools. Mechanical machinery hazards. Personal protective equipment. Why is PPE important? Selection and use. Maintenance. Types of PPE you can use. Introduction. Employees use work equipment for their own use at work. The scope is vast and includes hand tools, power tools, ladders, photocopiers, site plants, lifting equipment, forklift trucks, and motor vehicles. Employers and the self-employed must ensure that work equipment is suitable to use, well maintained, inspected if necessary, provided with adequate information and instruction, only used by those who have received proper training. Use and maintenance of equipment with specific risks. Some types of work equipment involve particular health and safety risks that cannot be fully controlled through physical measures alone, such as operating a bench-mounted circular saw or an abrasive wheel. In all circumstances, a control hierarchy should be used to mitigate risks. These include eliminating the risks or, if this is not possible, using physical measures such as guards to control dangers, taking adequate precautions, such as implementing a safe work system. Repairs, modifications, maintenance or servicing is also restricted to designated individuals. A specific person may be the operator if they have the necessary skills and have received specific instruction and training. Another person who has been specifically trained to perform a specific maintenance duty, such as dressing an abrasive wheel, may not be the operator but has been allocated to perform this servicing operation on a variety of machines. Information, instruction, and training. Information, instruction and training. People who use and maintain work equipment where residual dangers cannot be adequately removed by physical means require enough information, guidance, and training to function safely. The information and instructions are most likely to be found in operating and maintenance manuals provided by the manufacturer. It is the employer's responsibility to ensure that what is provided is easily understood, set out logically with illustrations and standard symbols where necessary. The information should be in plain English, but other languages may be necessary in some cases. The extent of the information and instructions will depend on the complexity of the equipment and the specific risks associated with its use. They should cover all safety and health aspects, any limitations on the use of the equipment, any foreseeable problems that could occur, safe methods to deal with the problems. Employees who use and maintain work equipment need to be adequately trained. The amount of training required will depend on the complexity and level of risk involved in operating or maintaining the equipment, the experience and expertise of the person performing the work, whether it is intended for routine usage or maintenance. Operation and working environment. To operate work equipment safely, it must be equipped with conveniently accessible and operable controls, kept well lit and clear, and equipped with suitable markings and warning signs. Equipment controls should be easily accessible from the operational positions. Not permit accidental starting of equipment. Move in the same direction as the motion being under control. Vary the mode, shape, and direction of movement to avoid accidentally activating the wrong control. Include adequate red stop buttons. Include adequate red emergency stop buttons of the mushroom-headed type with lock-off. Have shrouded or sunk green start buttons to prevent inadvertent activation of the equipment. Be clearly labeled to show what they do. Equipment should be operated in open, unobstructed places, especially if it is a high-risk machine. Debris and garbage emitted by the equipment should be eliminated as soon as possible. Equipment should be provided with effective techniques of isolating it from all sources of energy. In some cases, this source is the mains electrical energy, but it must cover all sources such as diesel or petrol engines, LPG, steam, compressed air, hydraulic, batteries, heat, etc. In some cases, special caution is required, such as when hydraulic power is turned off so that big items of equipment, such as the shovel on a front-loading excavator, do not fall victim to gravity. Handheld tools. Hand tools and handheld power tools are examples of work equipment. These tools must be task-appropriate, well-maintained, and appropriately operated. Hazards from the misuse or poor maintenance of hand tools include broken handles of files, chisels, screwdrivers, and hammers can result in cut hands or hammerheads flying off. Incorrect use of knives, saws and chisels with hands getting injured in the path of the cutting edge. Tools that slip, causing stab wounds. Poor quality uncomfortable handles that damage hands. Splayed spanners that slip and damage hands or faces. Chipped or loose hammerheads that fly off or slip. Incorrectly sharpened chisels that slip and cut hands. Flying particles that damage eyes from breaking up stone or concrete. Electrocution or burns by using incorrect or damaged tools for electrical work. Use of poorly insulated tools for hot work in catering or food industry. Hand tools should be adequately controlled, including those tools owned by employees. The following controls are important. Suitability. All tools should be suitable for the purpose and location in which they are to be used. This will include tools for electricians that are specially shielded and insulated. Non-sparking tools for usage in flammable environments, as well as the use of non-percussion instruments and cold cutting procedures. Tools manufactured of high-quality materials that will not chip or splay under regular conditions. Safety knives with enclosed blades for regular cutting operations. Cold chisels without burred ends. Inspection. All tools should be inspected to ensure that they are in a safe and proper condition. This can be achieved through the inspection of hand tools on a regular basis, discarding or prompt repair of defective tools, taking the time to keep tools in good working order and ready for usage, proper storage to prevent damage and corrosion. Training. All users of hand tools should be properly trained in their use. This may have been accomplished through apprenticeships and comparable training. This will be especially crucial in jobs requiring specialized skills or involving young people. Mechanical machinery hazards. Most machinery can cause injury to people, and machinery accidents figure prominently in official accident statistics. The severity of these injuries can range from a slight cut or bruise to various degrees of wounding and crippling mutilation, as well as crushing, decapitation, or other deadly traumas. A person may be injured at the machinery as a result of a crushing hazard through being trapped between a moving part of a machine and a fixed structure, such as a wall or a raised body of a dumper truck and its chassis. A shearing hazard that traps part of the body, typically a hand or fingers, between moving and fixed parts of the machine. A cutting or severing hazard through contact with the cutting edge, such as a bandsaw or rotating cutting disc. A drawing in or trapping hazard such as between and running gear wheels or rollers or between belts and pulley drives. A stabbing or puncture hazard through the ejection of particles from a machine or a sharp operating component like a small drill. High-pressure fluid ejection hazard, for example, from a hydraulic system leak. Personal protective equipment. Otherwise known as simply PPE, personal protective equipment is any kind of gear or apparatus that will protect an employee from a specific hazard. This will include such items as gloves, eye protection, and oxygen masks. It will have been selected for availability on the premises by the employer, and you will be expected to ensure that it always remains ready for use. Why is PPE important? PPE remains an integral part of workplace health and safety since it provides immediate and physical protection from bodily harm. Standard PPE will be able to protect employees from damage to head and feet, from falling objects, lungs, from breathing in contaminated air or fatalities from lack of oxygen, eyes, from ejected materials or harmful chemicals, skin, from burns or electric shocks, body, from extreme hot or cold temperatures. Selection and use. When choosing the appropriate PPE for your employees, you should consider who will be exposed to hazards, how long will the exposure last for, and what the level of exposure is. This will guide your choice considerably. For example, someone in a confined space with fumes will need a face mask and an oxygen supply. Other guidelines that you should follow are: ensure that all equipment has a CE mark to confirm EU safety standards have been satisfied. Seek advice from consultants and suppliers about the potential use. Ensure that the PPE comes in sizes appropriate to fit your intended workforce. If several pieces of PPE are required, ensure that they can be used safely together. Ensure that employees are trained and competent to use the PPE that you choose. Never let an untrained employee use an item of PPE if they have not been trained, even if only for a matter of minutes. Maintenance. PPE is exceptionally useful in preventing injuries and accidents only while they are kept in good working order and maintained well. Therefore, you must make sure that PPE is carefully protected and kept in excellent condition. Following these guidelines will help with that. If possible, keep PPE in a clean and dry cupboard space or locker. Inspect it regularly for any damage or environmental degradation. If a part fails on the PPE, make sure the replacement part is from the same manufacturer and an acceptable replacement. Keep spare PPE available in case an emergency replacement is needed. Make sure a reporting process is in place to alert staff of faulty PPE. Types of PPE you can use. A wide variety of PPE items are available to protect each part of the body. The following is a small representation of those. Head, industrial safety helmets, hard hats, protective caps, and fireperson's helmets. All designed to prevent falling debris from striking the employee. Lungs, respiratory protective equipment, RPE, any kind of filtering facepiece, respirator or face mask, that provides fresh, breathable oxygen. This will allow safe conduct for an employee in airtight spaces or one with collective fumes or gases. Eyes, safety spectacles, goggles, welder's masks, face shields, or visors. To protect from sparking, ejected materials, or airborne chemicals. Ears, earplugs, headphones, or earmuffs. To prevent constant noise damaging eardrums. Hands and arms, thick industrial gloves, long and short versions. To protect from extreme temperatures, acidic substances, or sharp objects. Feet and legs, safety boots or Wellington boots. To protect from heavy objects and chemical exposure. Whole body, conventional or disposable overalls, boiler suits, hazard suits, protective aprons, and chemical suits. This will provide all-over protection from high or low temperatures and toxic substances. Summary. In this module, we have covered: the scope of work equipment is vast and includes hand tools, power tools, ladders, photocopiers, site plants, lifting equipment, forklift trucks, and motor vehicles. To operate work equipment safely, it must be fitted with easily reached and operated controls, kept stab properly lit, kept clear, and provided with adequate markings and warning signs. Hand tools should be adequately controlled, including those tools owned by employees. Personal protective equipment is any kind of gear or apparatus that will protect an employee from a specific hazard. PPE is exceptionally useful in preventing injuries and accidents only while they are kept in good working order and maintained well. Thank you. This is the end of this module. Thanks for watching. Happy learning.